Welcome to the joint Zoom by the Los Angeles Times beat writer Jorge Castillo, and I am Union-Tribune, San Diego Union-Tribune Padres beat writer Kevin Acee. We are getting ready, Jorge, for the showdown, the rivalry. And I'm being facetious because, and this isn't going to win me any points with Padres fans, this is not a rivalry yet, but it might be. And the first of 19 games between the Padres and the Dodgers on Friday. Look, it's bigger from the Padres perspective than it has been in a long, long time. What's the Dodgers perspective?
Oh, I think, you mentioned it's not a rivalry. We've heard sort of both things from the Dodgers. Dave Roberts has said, yeah, this isn't a rivalry just because it's, a local team and it done well for one season. But on the other side, Justin Turner in spring training was saying that this is 19 World Series games he views it as. And I think the players, if you've got some truth serum in them, they tell you, to them, this is a kind of like a rivalry. With what happened last year, there's a lot of tension between these two teams. We saw what Trent Grisham, when he hit that home run, when he was sort of drawing with the Dodgers dugout, the tension, the plays at the plate a couple times where things got a little, there was some back and forth there. Obviously the series in Texas, which, was a sweep, but, the game 2 was pretty close. I think there's a lot of talent on both sides. There's pride on both sides. The Padres want to beat the Dodgers. The Dodgers want to show that they're still the bully on the block. And I think that's why we're going to see Trevor Bauer, Walker Buehler, and Clayton Kershaw start this weekend. They lined it up that way. Dave Roberts will never admit it, but I think that's why.
And that is a big point, and I think that the Padres should be on notice about that. And absolutely, gosh, last year was the first time where it was more than, oh, the little Padres are trying to see how they measure up. They actually came close to measuring up. But in the end, the Padres pitching, they were decimated, the starting pitching, and they just didn't measure up to the Dodgers. And here's the thing to me, though. It's worrisome for the Padres that the Dodgers have woken up and are taking the Padres seriously. Like, let's take that September series, Trent Grisham's home run off Clayton Kershaw. John, they're mad about him looking at it too long. He's John at them. Oh, wow. Boom. Dodgers take the next 2. What, did they lose like 1 game through the World Series? I'm kidding, but, look, the Dodgers are still the juggernaut. That's not to say, look, the Padres are so much better than they have ever been. Me personally, as a fan of watching good baseball, I'm enjoying the heck out of this, and I think it's great. Now, to show you how ridiculous and how early it is, right now the Padres are on pace to win 108 games as we record this, and finish 24 games behind the Dodgers. How much have the Dodgers acknowledged that, look, you got to win this division? Because you could be the second best team in baseball, and by virtue of being the second best team in the NL West, you got to play a 1-game wild card.
I think that's why Trevor Bauer's on this team. And, ultimately, I think Trevor Bauer gives them a lot of wiggle room here, gives them more of a safety net. He's a guy with the first 3 games out, obviously 2 games against the Rockies and 1 game against the A's. Not exactly juggernauts, but the guy has pitched really well last night. Tuesday night goes 7 scoreless, allows 1 infield single. He's the guy that they brought on board because they want to keep, they want to keep the Padres at bay. They want to win their, I think it's 9 straight. I've lost count. How many NL West titles? They need to win that division this year. They know it's going to be tough. And even with Tatis's injury, we're seeing the Padres play well without him. Like, as you mentioned, it's a talented team. They got Kim on board who can play some shortstop. So they have the talent in place. And I think the Dodgers saw that. They saw them, go trade for Yu Darvish, go trade for Blake Snell. And they were like, we need to make ourselves better this year. And how do we do that? Well, we go get the best starting pitcher, on the market. And, I wrote it at the beginning of the offseason. It was like, the Dodgers don't need, a starting pitcher. They don't need one. David Price is coming back next year. They got Dustin May, Tony Gonsolin, Julio Urias is coming into his own. But that's the type of move they'll make. The type of move where they'll bring in an elite player to make their talent pool that much better, an elite player that will help them ultimately, not, obviously in October, but I think in this case, help them get through the season going from 60 to 162 games and the toll that will be on pitchers. I think Trevor Bauer helps them do that. And ultimately, I think having a little competition from the Padres kind of maybe push the Dodgers into signing Trevor Bauer.
First off, as a Padres beat writer, and the misery that has been going on for so long, I should have walked off this Zoom when you can't remember how many straight division titles the Dodgers have won, because it's like, whatever. All right, it's 8. Jorge.
Yeah. Well, they're going for 9. They're going for 9. The 9th is very important.
And the counter to your point, which is, I mean, like a really good one, that from the Dodgers. Oh, wow, they're already stacked. What do they really need to do? Oh, but here's the thing. They develop so well from within, and they have gobs of money that when they need to, just go out and sign Trevor Bauer. The Padres, we were all a little naive to think that, they made the playoffs and maybe they'll add a pitcher or 2. No, they added 3, and they added 3 because of the Dodgers. Because you know what? You add Darvish, and the Padres can probably be the wild card. Look, they were already a good team, and all right, cool. We're going to concede the division to the Dodgers, but we'll see. We'll take our chances in the postseason. No, they went and got Blake Snell. They went and got Joe Musgrove, who, by the way, if you haven't heard, threw the first no-hitter in franchise history. You want to talk about a little a separation between the teams, where the Dodgers are, where the Padres are trying to get to. Before Friday's game, there will be a ceremony to honor, a brief ceremony, as there should be, to honor Joe Musgrove, who threw the first no-hitter in franchise history. I assume at least a few of the Dodgers will be watching it, and I wonder if it'll occur to any of them, oh, that's nice, one. Yeah, we do that about once a year around here.
Hey, I tweeted this the other day. It's Club Life Field, where every team but the Rangers make history. So good. Yeah, Joe Musgrove, that's a great story, being a San Diego kid too. So that was
it. Really is a neat story, and he'll miss them. But and I guess as we wrap up, you mentioned that it'll be Walker Buehler, Clayton Kershaw, Trevor Bauer. The Padres will counter with Darvish on Saturday and Blake Snell on Sunday. So that's great. They lined that up. Well, I skipped Friday because we don't know. Mm-hmm. And as we record this, it's on Wednesday. Tuesday night, the Padres had to go to a bullpen game, their second bullpen game. That's 8 1/3 innings in 3 days. The first one was Adrian Morejon. He was hurt after the third batter. And last night, Blake Snell couldn't get out of the first inning. So I think it's going to be Ryan Weathers on Friday, but that could depend on what happens over the next 2 days. They haven't ruled out, though, kind of indicated privately that it won't happen. Mackenzie Gore, the #1 pitching prospect in baseball, could make his debut against the Dodgers. Don't know about that. But the Padres going into that opening game that is going to be so important, the first of the 19 World Series games, they're going to be up against it.
Yeah, you mentioned Weathers. The Dodgers saw him a little bit in the playoffs last year, right? He made his major league debut in the playoffs. That doesn't happen very often, but I think it's going to be an exciting weekend. I think just seeing, Darvish Sunday, Darvish Saturday, Snell Sunday, and seeing the 3 guys the Dodgers have lined up. I think the Dodgers Justin Turner didn't play Tuesday night against the Rockies. And, Dave Roberts was like, we want to give him that extra day off after Monday's day off, because we want to get him ready for these next 2 games and this weekend. They're thinking about this weekend. And we can sit here and say, hey, there's 162 games, they're playing 19 times. It doesn't matter. But if the Dodgers or the Padres come out of that game, that series with a sweep, hey, that's 3 games against your main competition, the only competition in your division. That's a big deal. That's a big deal over the course of 162. And at the end of September, we might look back at one of these games this weekend and say that was the difference between a team winning the division and getting one of those wild card games where anything can happen. Doesn't matter who your starting pitching is, how many great starting pitchers you have, your talent pool. All comes down to one game and luck maybe at the end of the day.
It's kind of neat for us, and especially for you, who you probably really don't pay attention until the World Series anymore, Jorge. But, for us to have this in the middle of what is a grind and a marathon, it's neat to be able to look forward to this. And before I go, you mentioned it'll be exciting. The Padres are going to have giveaways for their season ticket holders, because that's all that can be in the ballpark now. They'll be expanding capacity to 33%. It was 20% for the opening homestand, 33% for this one. And in order to entice their season ticket holders to not sell their tickets, because that happens a lot. You can practically pay for your season tickets in San Diego by selling your tickets to a Dodgers series. But to entice them for, the Beat LA chant to be louder, for there not to be so much blue in the stands as there usually is, they're going to have giveaways for their season ticket holders. So I'm really looking forward to the atmosphere at Petco Park on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I will see you on Friday.
Sounds good, man. Look forward.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, everybody.